welcome to another episode of Bitcoin in Asia from Bitcoin Magazine. I'm John Riggins, and our guest this week is Liu Feng, founder and editor-in-chief of Chinese crypto media group Chain News. Feng was former EIC at Bloomberg Business Week in China before founding Chain News at the end of 2017. And he shares his firsthand insights into the media industry in China, how coverage of Bitcoin in China happens and has evolved, both in the mainstream press and in industry-specific media there. We also get into China's mining industry. Chain News recently brought back the annual spring mining conference that happens during the rainy season every year in Chengdu. And we also get into some other kind of sector trends that he's seeing on the ground there as editor-in-chief of Chain News. It's a good talk, and I hope you enjoy it. All right, welcome to the show, Feng. It's great to have you in. For those who aren't familiar with you yet, can you just give us kind of a quick backgrounds, where you're coming from and where you are now?
Okay, thank you, John. My name is Feng. Actually, I'm running a Chinese crypto news outlet, Chain News. So far, Chain News is one of top crypto news outlets here in China. Previously, I have been in business reporting for around 2 decades already. Previously, I was editor-in-chief of Bloomberg Business Week Chinese edition. At the end of 2017, two of my friends and myself, we established Chain News. After we have been in this industry, in crypto for 2.5 years already. Yeah,
for sure. It's really an eternity in this world. And I remember when you kind of came on the scene 2.5 years ago, and it was it was a big deal. There's new media being formed, former editor-in-chief of Bloomberg Business Week in China. So that was kind of a news in itself in terms of kind of legitimizing the space as something worth covering. Before we start getting into those last 2 years, wanted to just ask a little bit about that time in Bloomberg and kind of in institutional media in China previously. Can you give us kind of some context, I guess, for any kind of maybe misconceptions that outsiders have of how kind of it operates? I think at Bloomberg it was somewhat of a kind of a licensing thing with a foreign brand. Yeah. Give some context for kind of, I guess, your career and some of that institutional media that you were a part of for a while.
Okay. First, I'm thinking about what is institutional media. You mentioned.
Yeah. I guess just mainstream media.
You are talking about the serious media, right?
Just mainstream. So we're serious media here. I think we would best say we're serious media, but I guess more mainstream, less niche, at least back then.
Okay. In China there are so many media. We have mainstream media like People's Daily. I think you know what is People's Daily, right? So I guess most of outsiders may think all Chinese mainstream media are state-owned. Is that correct?
I think there's probably a perception that
I think for most of Western people, you think mainstream Chinese media are state-owned. Actually, that is yes and no. For yes, the media industry in China is regulated. It's fully regulated. So I believe our government owns mainstream media. But there are a number of market-oriented media in China already. Some of them are very good at they can produce very good quality content, especially in business reporting, in sports, entertainment, and lifestyle reporting. So I think that is the biggest misperception for outsiders.
Yeah, that's fair. And so Bloomberg Business Week editor-in-chief, you come in, you decide to found media focused on Bitcoin and crypto.
Can you give us kind of that short story version of how that happened, and I guess what kind of made you jump in full time? Obviously, it's a risk to do that.
Okay, as a journalist, I have been closely covering Bitcoin or blockchain technology for a while. I remember Business Week, English version of Business Week, published a long form feature story in 2011. We translated it into Chinese. It was a very, very challenging task.
Yeah.
It's difficult to understand what, for example, it's difficult to understand what is mining, how to translate it into Chinese context.
Absolutely.
We know mining gold, but you will use a software to mine something digital. It's very difficult. It's difficult to translate it. So
so that was 2011. That was super early. Did the way that you translate it then, has that lasted until now? So you kind of set the standard for how to know.
That is a long story, very good story about what is Bitcoin and how it works. It's amazing story. So I remember I talked to several translators, and we define some dictions in Chinese.
Yeah,
I think from that story, I try to understand Bitcoin. In China, I remember in 2015 or 2016, a lot of mainstream, you like this word, mainstream financial institutions, big financial firms tried to go into this field. They did not talk about Bitcoin, but they talked about blockchain technology. And I remember that was in 2015 or 2016, something like that. Yeah. So for myself, I think blockchain technology is cool. In 2017, more and more people were talking about blockchain, especially Bitcoin. It was because of market. It's really good time for crypto, right? Yeah. So at the end of 2017, two friends and myself, we want to do something different. We want to jump into a new world. That's why I jumped into this rabbit hole.
There you go. And from the good time to kind of this winter market you have, and hopefully on the way up. So it was interesting timing.
So that is a sad story.
But just gotta grind like everybody else and make it through to the next bull run.
Yeah.
Cool. So you jump in, decide to start covering it natively and hiring a team of reporters and whatnot. Can you talk a little bit kind of now about how Bitcoin is covered? Sorry to go back to that mainstream. We won't talk about the mainstream media anymore after this, but how Bitcoin is covered today in kind of the mainstream business or non kind of crypto press, and if that's changed at all over the last 5 years or so. Any kind of trends you're seeing there? I think one kind of data point, not media wise, but the inclusion of some kind of Bitcoin mining related questions on the Gaokao was kind of an interesting thing that happened in mainstream education, I guess. Talk a little bit about how Bitcoin coverage has changed, I guess, how it is now.
Okay, so may I ask you the same question?
Yeah.
What do you observe in Western mainstream media regarding Bitcoin?
Yeah.
Do you think they like Bitcoin?
So I think there's been a big change in going from, back in 2013, 14, everyone was excited when it was covered at all.
Yeah.
And it was usually for some kind of scandal, for some, exchange hack or, someone losing a large amount of Bitcoins or something like that. And now I think it's just kind of a part of mainstream tech coverage in the way that, like any really kind of tech in the US probably has kind of a little bit of a negative bent in terms of how it's coveraged. People focus on some of the negative aspects of it. That's still probably the case somewhat with Bitcoin, but also it's not kind of the whole story. And so, you see news items that are in mainstream press about, unicorns in Bitcoin now, like, Coinbase or the Geminis that are just covered like normal tech companies, normal financial institutions. So I think there's definitely been a trend towards, it just as Bitcoin goes mainstream, to use that word again, the coverage has followed that.
Yeah, I think it's very similar here in China. I believe sophisticated and smart journalists, they can stand the beauty of Bitcoin and the beauty of blockchain, as always. So maybe in several years ago, only few smart journalists who can stand what is Bitcoin, what is blockchain technology. However, more and more journalists are covering blockchain and covering Bitcoin here in China. I think that is very good sign. More and more people they can write stories and tell other people why they believe blockchain technology is kind of innovation and why they think the blockchain technology can change the world. That is very good sign. I think more and more, we can see more and more journalists are talking about it. However, I don't think Chinese mainstream journalists, they talk about unicorns here in crypto. For one reason is almost the biggest crypto firms are exchanges here in China. However, crypto exchanges are not very welcome for mainstream media. That is the reason. Yeah,
it's an interesting point. And then so y'all's media, get kind of to y'all. How do you think about the balance between local Chinese language reporting with people on the ground there versus translating stuff that's coming from the West? There's obviously interest in that from kind of the audience in China. How do you kind of balance the reporting that y'all do versus translation?
Okay, at first I think crypto is a global business from day one. However, currently we are in very early stage. It means that we can see huge gap between the West and the East. In China, I believe we lack of systematic thinking about crypto. That is our problem. We are good at we are very practical. We are very practical, but we are not good at systematic thinking. There are tons of good stuff. I mean, good narratives, good explanations, and good articles about crypto in English. That's why we are keen to introduce the existing good stuff from English world to Chinese community. We did a lot. In the meanwhile, I think we should try our best to explore the stories here in Chinese community. So I think as a beginning, we should introduce, we should translate, and as our community grows, we definitely will pay more attention to what are happening in China.
Yeah, and that's a process of letting the market develop for sure. I guess and kind of the distribution of that media in China. Can you give also some context for kind of how people are consuming this media today? The different platforms, the different kind of things that you push out to. I guess the kind of crypto consuming audience, and then the Chinese audience consuming media more broadly too.
Yeah. For channels, we have our own website. It is a content platform. We also have our app, news app. But I believe for most of Chinese crypto participants, WeChat is amazing and the most useful platform. John, I think you have WeChat account as well, right?
I think we've been messaging on WeChat this week. But yeah, I think amazing really is the word that, I mean, even most people when they first come into contact with WeChat say about it, is how amazing it is that all this stuff is included, on one application.
Yeah, so for Western people, you are using Twitter, Telegram to engage with others. But in China, WeChat definitely is the best platform for people to consume content, to get the latest news. That's why my observation is in crypto world in China, most of people consume news or content on WeChat.
For sure. Yeah, it is kind of an interesting thing where most of the conversation in the West happens on Twitter. That's where all kind of the action is, and there's just such a disconnect. There's just there aren't the big kind of personalities from China interacting on Twitter as much yet, and obviously vice versa. Westerners on WeChat. Any thoughts on that?
For Chinese people, if they want to engage with Western crypto persons, definitely they will use Twitter. But I think Chinese in China, crypto communities also has its own ecosystem. For Western people like you, if you want to engage with us, definitely you have to have a WeChat account.
For sure, it's
right?
a good tip. For sure, and really, I mean, the translation on WeChat too is, I think, it's actually, possible to communicate with someone fully in Chinese and English and choose the translation feature. It's kind of amazing.
For sure.
All right. Any thoughts on? I guess we've had some kind of foreign media opening up in China in the last year or so. Any thoughts on kind of Western crypto media coming into the market and how they're doing that? Just any thoughts?
I don't think a lot of Western crypto media set up office here in China. Due to media regulations here, I don't think it's easy to have an office here. You have to apply for a permit from our government.
Yeah. Licensing deals, however it's being done, I guess.
Yeah, that is impossible for crypto media.
For sure.
So but I definitely see several Chinese-speaking journalists. They are working for Western crypto media, and they have very good connections here in Chinese community. And they may be based in New York or somewhere, but they can approach to Chinese community and report what are happening here. Yeah, I think that is a trend, and that's why we can see a lot of amazing stories about China and about Chinese community.
For sure. And so that kind of mentioned the kind of a little bit of the disconnect that has been around in terms of people not exactly understanding what's happening on the ground in China. Do you think that's starting to be, and y'all are doing your part obviously too, do you think that's starting to kind of converge in a way that there's less of a disconnect between the West and mainland China now? Do you see that as kind of a trend?
Yeah, we can see the gap. However, as more and more people are trying to bridge the gap between the West and the East, I think that so far for Chinese, as a Chinese, I can read the latest stories about crypto in US, in Europe, and for like us, we aggressively translate the new stuff to Chinese community. Yeah, and more Chinese speaking journalists, they are trying to do same thing. They translate Chinese media reports to Western community. So I think the gap, we can break the gap. We can bridge the gap.
Yeah. And then so there's the kind of reporting, news aspect of this, but events have also been kind of pretty, an important part of kind of the ecosystem developing in China, from large in-person events happening all over the country, from Chengdu, Beijing, Hangzhou, Shanghai, Shenzhen, all over the place. And I've been to a ton of different cities just for these conferences that you get more people than you see at your average conference over here. And something that obviously took a few months of hiatus, but then recently we kind of had the reemergence of that in-person conference scene, and something that actually got a lot of coverage in the West was this mining event that you all held in Chengdu last week, a little more than a week ago. Talk about the in-person conference scene, how that came. I guess that last mining event came to be. Obviously, there had been this trend of a large mining event in Sichuan each spring. So y'all kind of took that mantle this year, and talk a little bit about that process.
Okay, I think that it might be the only big event in crypto since the beginning of this year, right?
I think so, yeah. Well, in the entire world.
We are so lucky. At that time, it was safe to travel, but currently that become a problem again.
Yeah, you just squeezed it in.
In
the 1 week so that was available.
Yeah. We are so lucky. We can invite almost I think almost all key persons in crypto in China to the event to talk about mining business, talk about blockchain technology as in Chengdu. The topic of the event is about mining. However, we also have crypto funds. We also have some legged crypto projects and some developers to the event as well. Definitely, the mining is a hot topic. We just experienced the Bitcoin halving, and for miners, they want to understand what will happen in this industry, and miner manufacturers, they want to engage with miners to understand what they demand. So the conference, if I would like to think about the conference, the kind of social platform or engagement platform. People can talk to each other and exchange their experience in last quarters. They had to be at home for a while. They need to meet friends, to meet their clients. So I think that is the beauty of the conference. For sure, we have we have top mining pools. We have top players in the industry to give presentations, to give lightning talks. But I think the most beautiful part of the event is to have people in one city and to meet friends. Yeah, that is my observations about the event.
Yeah, that's accurate.
If I am correct, I think around 20 to 30 functions, events, cocktails cocktails took place in Chengdu during that week. It's kind
Yeah.
of real blockchain week, but no official organizer.
Yeah, hopefully there are more in 2020, but so far it's the only one. Actually, we had to postpone our Bitcoin 2020 event, which you were going to be at in San Francisco. But yeah, it's good to be able to have that in this last week. And it's June 17th now, and so we've just had a little bit of an uptick in COVID cases again, unfortunately. And so some of that travel is starting to be restricted again, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
And then I guess to talk just a little bit more about that event in that week, I was there last year for the mining event, spring in Chengdu. And it seems like one thing that's really progressed since then is this trend of more companies, more services, more products aimed at kind of financial services for miners. And that was, I think, something that was pretty clear in the content of the conference this year and the companies that were there. Any other trends that you're seeing? And then if you want to talk about that trend at all in terms of mining industry, kind of what trends you saw from that event?
Okay, for mining industry, I think mining industry was a black box for outsiders. They have their own community. You have to drink. If you cannot drink, you cannot be a part of that community, right?
Yeah.
So I have to say that the mining community is very, very local. Especially for you, even you cannot directly engage with the real miners here in China. My observation is that after the halving, we can see the pressure miners are facing. Yeah, they are keen to learn. So one thing is about financial service to miners, exchanges, some emerging crypto financial service providers. They are keen to educate miners how to use some toolkits to manage some risks. So
right.
That is rapid growing sector in our industry. Number two is about mining business model. I believe the mining business model will change, and miners are seeking to upgrade their business. But what will be new business model? I have no idea. I heard a lot of discussions. Miners want to learn how to make profits after halving. However, I don't have answer.
Yeah.
But I believe the change will happen very, very soon.
Yeah. And then Sichuan, obviously, where because the rainy season is kind of why that tends to be there in the spring. Saw that there were some mudslides last night. Do you know how have you seen that? Do you know how bad those were this week? Mudslides this morning.
I read some reports about it. However, I talked to several miners as well. I believe that is true, but
you haven't heard of anyone hit?
I was not in Sichuan. I don't know the real situation. However, I people exchange pictures, people exchange photos about the incidents. Mm-hmm. I think that is true.
Yeah. So mining, obviously, something that is deeply rooted in China, and part of the industry that I think everyone would agree is going to be long lasting and growing. Any other what other parts of the Bitcoin ecosystem are you bullish on in China now? You mentioned kind of the unicorns of the exchanges there. I guess as we pass the halving and look into this next kind of cycle, what other kind of parts of the Bitcoin ecosystem are you bullish on in China? Businesses that are growing there.
Very good question. For Bitcoin ecosystem, I think for technology, most of Bitcoin developers are in Western countries. But mining industry is here in China. Most of top exchanges are here in China. So if we talk about Bitcoin ecosystem in China, I think, definitely we should look at mining business and exchanges. However, I think more and more emerging service providers are here. For example, wallet. I noticed a couple of new wallet products developed by Chinese teams. I think that is really amazing. Yeah. For example, Kobo. Yeah, I think you know them. Yeah. And another trend is about service, financial service. Due to because most of miners are here, so some the financial providers they are very close to their clients. So they can innovate. They can innovate their products and develop the products according to miners' request. So we can see a lot of innovations here in China in crypto financing sector.
Yeah.
I think that is very important. More and more miners will choose to use financial tools to hedge risk and secure their assets.
For sure, definitely a trend. And then to kind of the competitive landscape for a couple of those sectors too. You've seen, we've something that's kind of covered extensively is this kind of, mining hardware competition. Who's in the lead now? What's happening? Obviously, there's been a lot of drama with Bitmain, Micro.
All drama
coming up. And then Canon, went public in the U.S. Then you have eBay trying to now. Any just thoughts from you on the competitive landscape of that hardware ecosystem in China? Any kind of trends you're seeing
It's a very good question. For hardware, I think China is good. Chinese companies are good at production. However, I think in mining hardware industry here, my observation is the competitors or the players are there already. Maybe we can see one or two emerging in the market. However, it's very difficult for newcomers to the market.
Yeah. And so, really, you've seen all these new competitors that have come up. They've all spun out of existing, hardware, production kind of groups anyway, with Microbit and Bitmain, with a lot of these things. So, competitive landscape then of exchanges too. So you may not be able to talk too much about this, but you have OKCoin and Huobi, which are kind of seen at least as more sort of connected, a little bit more, I guess connected in Beijing, and then Binance kind of coming in, being a little bit of seen more of as kind of a rogue, move fast and break things type of organization. Any comments on kind of the level of acceptance of those exchange businesses, the relationships that do exist to allow them to function how they're functioning? Any thoughts on that exchange landscape in China now?
Okay, it's very similar to hardware industry. I think the existing players are there already. For sport market, definitely we have top three already. Even as you said, two of them are in Beijing. Yeah, they are in Beijing. However, they are doing crypto trading business. They never ever say they have a crypto trading business here in mainland China.
Mm-hmm.
They always say for trading business that is not in China. So so I think it's very difficult to find a new big player in exchange, especially in sport exchange. But nowadays I think contracts, the futures, the Bitcoin futures are very, very hot. Mm-hmm. They have, I believe, that is perhaps the next big thing in trading business. Perhaps we can see new emerging players in that field.
Yeah,
for sure. We have several already. For example, Bybit and FTX. They are really new players in the market.
Yeah. For sure. And then you have also these exchanges that, they have their businesses when they are always looking to kind of break into anything else that becomes a trend, from, starting their own mining pools to doing a lot more of that lending and financial services focused on miners. I think you had,
you are right.
You saw some of that in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you are right. For the established big exchange, they want to have everything. They want to provide all full range service to their clients, from trading, mining pools to financial service. Yeah, they want to be a kind of non-stop, one-stop shop. They are doing it.
Yeah, and y'all's headquarters is in Beijing, and you're around a lot of that action there. Any kind of last thing, let you take anything, any other kind of trends that you're seeing, post halving for the rest of the year? Any predictions on the industry in China as we head into hopefully the next bull cycle pretty soon?
Okay, it's difficult to give a predict, because our industry changed very, very quickly. So far, I want to say is that we should pay more attention to public chains besides Bitcoin and Ethereum, because so far
hot take.
So many projects, especially public chains, claimed they will be competitors of Bitcoin network or Ethereum network. However, no one so far succeeds. That's why I think, we have met a lot of projects. They claimed they are blockchain 3.0, 4.0. So far, no one really achieved that. So I think we should keep our eyes open and look at the next big thing in public chain. If we only have Bitcoin, we only have Ethereum, I think that is not enough. We need more players in this industry. We need more players to have crypto users on board. That is my opinion.
I guess one other big player that is kind of seen as adjacent to the industry is this trend of central bank digital currencies, so DCEP in China. Any thoughts on that going forward? Kind of where it sits now, what you see happening?
Yeah, everyone is talking about digital currency. However, I don't think they are relevant to our industry. um, okay, Bitcoin is digital and central bank digital currency is digital. I think that's all.
So maybe more relevant to the rails of WeChat Pay and Alipay.
Yeah, you said it.
Any thoughts on how you see that playing out? I guess.
I think I have several friends who are working for Tencent or Alibaba. They are watching closely at the central bank digital currency. They are keen to understand the development progress. I think that is true because they will compete directly. For us, I believe in crypto native. So yes, if we are using, if more and more people will have a digital wallet, that is good. However, personally, I believe in, cryptocurrency will be the future. For, I really, really concerned about privacy. That's why I believe in cryptocurrency rather than digital currency. That is my personal view.
That's why we're doing what we're doing. That's why we're grinding through these last 2.5 years of bear market, right as you entered the industry. Well, thanks. So all great info. Last thing, more of a fun one. One recommendation for where you are, a city in China, maybe you're not in Beijing right now. Give us a recommendation for where you are.
Okay.
Yeah, restaurant, movie, anything.
Okay. As you said, Chainnews headquarters in Beijing. However, we are decentralized.
Wow.
We have 2 offices. One is in Beijing and the other one is in Shanghai. However, we have our reporters, full-time reporters in Bangkok, in Sichuan, and in other cities in China. Personally, myself is in Xiamen or Amoy in Old English, Amoy. It is a coastal city in southeastern China. Very beautiful city. I would like to recommend this city. This city is very close to Taiwan Island, and it is well known for its good climate and hawking culture. And the most important, hawking is kind of very local culture here. And cool. The most important thing is a lot of crypto pioneers are based here in this city. I met a lot of amazing people. They jumped into crypto in early 2011 or 2012, in very, very early days. And I met several white whales here. So this city is amazing. Yeah.
Good deal. Well, great recommendation. We'll have to get over there as soon as we get travel back and running. Thanks for your time. You should all the insights.
You should come to Xiamen and meet some crypto guys here. Yeah.
I'm in. I'll be hitting you up. Well, thanks for your time. Appreciate it, and have a great night over there.
Okay. Thank you, John. Thank you.
quick reminder, all of the content in this episode is for informational purposes only. You should not construe any such information or other material as legal, tax, investment, financial, or other advice. Nothing contained in this presentation constitutes a solicitation, recommendation, endorsement, or offer by BTC Media, the Let's Talk Bitcoin podcast network, or any third-party service provider to buy or sell any securities or other financial instruments.